How are you doing, class? I just wanted to make a video now that you're kind of in the middle of the week working on chapter 2, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the homework and just to kind of give some additional guidance, trying to anticipate some questions people might have, and I welcome any feedback or constructive criticism just of what you all need as students. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about some of the items in the homework here. We've got 5 different categories, A through E. And the first thing, I mentioned this in class actually on Saturday, is that you need to memorize the paradigms for phone and cardia. And each of these are kind of exemplars of the 2 different first declension patterns, right? You should know that by now, having kind of worked your way through the chapter. We have the eta pattern represented here by phone, and we have the alpha pattern represented by cardia. And they don't decline exactly the same way, right? You know that by now. You've seen that. That's not anything new. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of reviewing this. And so if you haven't done the homework already, I suggest turning this video off and then going back and doing the homework and then coming back and watching this video after you've corrected it. But just kind of to review a little bit here, right? Some of these verb or some of these noun forms are incorrect. You have zoa here instead of zoe, right? We can see that's wrong because it should be a dative with an eta and a iota subscript, but actually we have the alpha here instead. And so you have other words that are correct, like aletheia, hemeri, phones, right? These are the things that we expect to see in these patterns. And again, what we're looking for really in this assignment is just an incorrect ending. You really want to be able to distinguish between the 2 different kinds of patterns of first declension nouns. That's really what the textbook is getting at, and that's what you need to be able to do when you're reading in the wild. It's not going to be super important, right? When you're reading through the Greek New Testament, it's like, oh, this is a first declension eta, this is a first declension alpha. You're not going to really be thinking in those categories. What you really need to be able to do is to correctly identify the gender numbering case of the noun. That's what you're really trying to do. And so being able to distinguish those patterns will help you in doing that. And so we've got here then hamartia, right? Well, that one should stick out to us right away, right? Because we know the word is hamartia. So we know that one's our wrong one. We have ekklesion, of the churches, agapa, by love or in love or to love, however, and basileon, just kingdom, a kingdom. And this is in the accusative case. So we have here an impossible form, the form of hamartia. Then here in the third one, we've got gain, cardias, doxe, phona. We know it's phone. And a matter of fact, this one's a freebie because look what you have up here. You have the correct form, phones, right? We know that one's right. We know this was our wrong one. Similar problem here. Now down here, hemeros, which, we know this could actually be a genitive singular in the alpha pattern. It could also be an accusative plural. We don't have the article here, tas or taste, to really tell us which it is, but we know this form is correct, right? Hemera is an alpha pattern. Oh, there it is, ecclesias, right? We see this is wrong because it has the incorrect vowel here. Zoes, doxon, these are what we expect to see. And then doxos, basileas, hamartia, alethein, right? We know that's wrong. Matter of fact, we know that's wrong because look what we have up here. Sometimes these homework assignments will make it pretty easy for us, right? And again, the point of all of this with these is for us to be able to make sure we identify the noun correctly, to be able to distinguish between those things. We're really trying to sharpen your attention to detail on Greek words. Now, we've got a little section on the article here. And what the textbook's asking you to do is to parse these nouns, circle examples where the article doesn't match the noun in gender, case, and number, because the article will always have to match the noun that it is modifying, or later on you'll see adjectives and participles. But usually, whatever the article is modifying, like this, if it's in that definite position, it's going to match in case, gender, and number. So we have tain aletheon. Well, that's what we expect, right? We expect to see that's an accusative, right? We have an accusative article here. Tes zoes. That's exactly what we expect to see, right? Oh, and here we have our first one. I hemera. Well, we have a singular nominative here in the form of hemera, just day, but we have the nominative feminine plural article, high hemera. So we know that that's wrong. It doesn't match. Now we have another one, tain hamartion. Oh, that doesn't seem right. We've got an accusative, feminine singular article here, and we have a genitive, feminine plural noun. So we know those don't match. Hamartion, right? We would expect it to be hamar. We would expect it to be in the accusative case, right? But it's not. But it's not. Tais ecclesiais, right? We've got that here. Tais ecclesiais, to the churches. Well, that matches, right? That matches. So we don't do anything. Tas agapes. Ooh, we have one that's wrong here, right? If this was going to be plural, right, it would be agapas. That's what we would expect, but it's not what we have, right? We have tas agapes here, right? This is the accusative plural, and this is the genitive singular in the feminine, the eta pattern. You can see they don't match. Hey, gay. We have another one here, and we've got a dative feminine singular here for gay, but then we have a nominative feminine singular article. So we know that that's not right. We know that's not right. So we can say those don't match. Te basileia. Well, you can see here the article is a dative. It's a dative feminine singular. And this noun is a dative feminine singular, so they do match. Ooh, here's another one's kind of tricky. Tais cardias. Tais cardias. Well, this is a dative feminine plural article. And what we have here is the accusative plural cardias, right? Not cardion, like over here, right? We would expect if it's a singular or singular accusative, like tain hamartion, as opposed to tain hamartion, right? We expect that. In this case, we have the plural in the alpha pattern, cardias, with a dative article here. So we know that's wrong. Tain doxon. We have an accusative feminine singular article, and we have an accusative feminine singular noun. There you go. And now we've got some of the case stuff here, right? Let's take a look at this. Circle the Greek word that best translates the English phrase. Well, our English phrase is to the churches. So which one of these matches? We know it can't be this one because this is a dative singular, right? We have churches. This is to the church. It's the right case. It's the right case for this, but it's not actually the right number. Tas ecclesias. Well, this right here can't be it either. It is plural, right? We know it's plural. In fact, we know exactly what it is. Dr. Plummer calls the article the DNA test for the noun, and this is really true here. Tas tells us it's a feminine accusative plural. And so we know it's the churches, but it's functioning in the direct object case. It's not functioning as an indirect object, which is what we have here. And so by process of elimination, we know the correct answer is tais ecclesiais, to the churches. To the churches. Now we have of the heart. So right away we know we're looking for a genitive, right? Before we even go any further, we know we're looking for a genitive. So remember, what is the genitive in the alpha pattern, right? We know the article is tais. Do we see that anywhere over here? We do. We do. We see tais cardias, right? Remember, alpha pattern, the feminine singular genitive and the feminine plural accusative both have the alpha sigma ending. They both have that alpha sigma. See, you can see it right here, tas cardias, right? Dr. Plummer's trying to trick you. He's trying to be clever. Look, see? You got to know the difference. But we know that this, of the heart, this is correct. And if it was missing the article, it would be of a heart, right? In this case, we know it's of the heart. The days, subject. The days, subject. So it's clarifying here, right? Dr. Plummer's clarifying. He's telling us that this is not going to be an accusative. He's telling us it's going to be a nominative. So we know, for example, that we can rule out any accusative. We know we can rule out tas hemeros if we see it. We also know it's definite, and we know it's plural. We know it's plural. So we know we're looking for a nominative plural feminine here. Hi hemerai is the very first thing that greets us, and lo and behold, that's the correct answer. Here's the accusative, right, which would also be correct of the days if we didn't have this qualifier subject here. Now we have the day, hemera, so it's nominative. It's the correct case, the subject case, but it's not plural. He mera, instead of hi, he merai. Now, our fourth one, for the truth. Tein aletheon, te aletheia, tes aletheas. You probably already got the right answer on this one, but let's talk about it. So we know for the. Well, which case is that? What case are we being told to look for here? We're being told to look for a dative, right? We know it's a dative. We know it's not a genitive, accusative, or nominative. There's only one dative here in the stack, right? We see tein aletheon, that's our accusative case. Tes aletheas, that's our genitive case. Te aletheia, right? That iota subscript is the giveaway here. Iota subscript is circumflex over the long vowel here. You do see a circumflex here over the genitive, but of course you have that signature sigma at the end in the feminine case, feminine declensions. Now, of the love. Okay, so let's see. Before we even go look over here, right? I know you're dying to go look over there. But think about this. What are we looking for? Looking for a genitive. It's definite. It's singular. We know it's agape that we're looking for. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? So we know it cannot be this one, right? Because it's hey agape. This is the nominative case. This is the subject case. Tein agape. That's our accusative case, right? That would be the love. These would both, without the rest of the sentence, be translated the same. Tes agapes. There we go. We know by elimination. We also know by the signature eta sigma here at the end, right? The eta sigma in the eta pattern, first declension nouns. There you go. And now this one's a little harder, right? Translation. We're going to do more of this in class too. I've got more examples of all of these with the rest of the vocabulary you learned. And let's talk a little bit about this. So we need to underline the first declension nouns and then parse and translate each one. And bear in mind, Dr. Plummer does not mean translate this whole sentence, right? Because you don't know how to do that. We have a aorist active indicative verb here from saluo, or you don't know what that means yet. You know, the voice shook the earth is how that's translated. So we know this first one here, the voice, right? Hey, phone, nominative, singular from phone, the voice, right? The voice. We underline that. Now for our second one, lege auto ha Jesus ego emi eharas kai he aletheia, or heharas kai he aletheia kai he zoe. John 14:6. Actually, if you know your New Testament pretty well, you might be able to kind of get a lot of this. But there's a couple of words here actually that we've already learned, right? Aletheia, Zoe. So these would be the ones you would want to underline. What can we see about them? Well, first, they're nominative, aren't they? Right? We know we have that DNA test right here. We have that kind of unmarked ending right there. So hey aletheia, hey Zoe. Hey aletheia, hey Zoe. Right? We see that. So we know the truth, the life. And you know this word too, don't you? Kai, right? And the truth and the life. Ooh, we know it's John 14:6. Hey, hodos, we have another noun here. We have another noun. This is not one of the ones you've learned, but what do we know? We know it's an eta pattern, right? We know there's something unusual about it. You'll learn about that in a little bit. There are some weird ones that are called hybrid nouns. Don't burden yourself. You don't need to know about that yet. But that's the way, right? This is the sentence. He said to him, Jesus. So Jesus is the subject. Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. There you go. There you go. Okay, two more. Ta de telos tes parangelias estin agape ek katharas cardias kai sunedesios agathes kai pisteos anupakritu. Okay, so what words are we looking for here, right? There's a lot going on. You can even see right here, there's another first declension noun, but you haven't learned that yet, so don't need to worry about that. But just good to recognize too, right? This skill, you can be able to pick them out of a lineup, so to speak. All right, Estine, agape. Oh, there's agape. There's agape. Cardias, there's another one we know. There's another one. And then a whole bunch of words you don't know. So agape, right? Love. Cardias, right? What do we see about this? No article, but it does have that typical nominative ending, doesn't it? So we know this is just love. You could say a love, you could just say love, because all right, you guys don't know what the rest of this means yet, right? So you don't have the knowledge to translate that yet, other than just saying love. We know it's the word love. Cardia. So let's stop here for a minute. We don't have an article. But what do we see here at the end? We have an alpha sigma. What could this be? It could be a genitive, right? We know it could be a genitive singular. We also know it could be an accusative plural. Now, in this case, it is a genitive. It is a genitive. I can tell you that for sure because you have this construction here. You don't know what this means yet, but this preposition means it's a genitive. So we know that from the context. But in this case, you just identify those two, right? Aganata de en ekene te hemera, diogmas megas epitain ecclesian, tain en Jerusalemmois. All right. So what do we see? Well, we've got te hemera, right? And what do we have here? We have the dative feminine singular, right? In the day or to the day or for the day, right? I'll accept any of those because again, you don't know what the rest of this stuff is. You don't know what this stuff is. And then what do we have here? Another word we recognize, right? Another word we recognize. We have tains. We have the feminine accusative singular, ecclesion, right? They both match like exactly how we would expect them to. We have tain ecclesion, the church. So that's kind of a breakdown on the homework. And the big idea in all of this is that you will be able to tell the difference between these different cases in these patterns. So just keep that in mind while you're doing this. This is teaching you to recognize it quickly. And so again, we have the eta and the alpha paradigm. And for the record, you are going to want to be able to produce both of these paradigms for the quiz. You are going to want to be able to do that. And you're going to want to be able to do everything in the homework here. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a line on Discord and shoot me an email. And I'd be happy to get back with you on that. Thank you all for your time.